Okay, this camera is actually pretty cool. It's basic, it's got decent video quality. Let's turn it on, button here on top. It's on in about a second, really nice. Shows you the battery status when it turns on and the remaining time available on the memory. This has got a built-in, not built-in, it came with a 4 gigabyte card. So on this 4 gig card you've got almost 50 minutes of time. I have a couple of videos on here, but you can see it's a lot of time for this card. It's a pretty basic menu system here. This is actually a flexible plastic skin to keep the buttons underneath it dry when you go in the water and so on. Let's hit the play button. This is the last video I recorded. I mean, so the quality of the screen is actually pretty nice too. It defaults to widescreen and 720. I'm really impressed with the underwater footage. I have a Hero GoPro 2 and the underwater footage is horrible. On this thing it's great. On the Hero I have to buy a different housing or a special lens kit for it for another like 80 bucks, which is more than this camera costs. It is only waterproof to 10 feet, so for snorkeling in a pool or if you're going to a wet ride at an amusement park, I mean, you really can't beat it. If I play a second time, you get a little thumbnail here of the videos that have been recorded, and you just use this little toggle thing here to find the one you want to watch, and then play it. It's pretty simple. It's got a built-in mic and a built-in speaker, so you can actually record underwater audio. So if you're on a reef, you can hear all the crackling and popping sounds and so on. It's also got a share button, so you can make sharing to Flickr, YouTube, Facebook, and so on easier. You can see the other information on the camera about that. In your tools option, you can do some in-camera editing, capture a still frame from a video, change the resolution, and so on. It's pretty cool. It's also got a special underwater format to color correct. An electronic glare shield, so if you're shooting in really bright days or under the sun, it helps correct for that, which is kind of cool. Let me go back to recording here, and it's pretty simple. So I'll hit record. If I just hit the start button, you get a beep. It shows your red flashing light showing it's recording and the amount of time of your current recording. You see the front of the camera, there's no blinking light or anything, so the only way you can tell if it is recording is by looking at the back of the camera where the screen's at. Stop the recording. And here's your microphone next to the little lens, and then here is the speaker. Now this camera, like I say, is waterproof to 10 feet. It does this by using gaskets. Now some people complain the doors are too hard to open. They're really not, they're just tricky. For the door covering the HDMI port and the SD card, you push this little slide lock here forward. Once it's pushed forward, you can just turn the camera over and the door will swing open. If you've been in the water recently, it may stick because of moisture being in there. So again, you just slide this little thing forward, and then you can take your finger in this little notch here and you can pull it open. Once it's open, you'll see what you have here is a large gasket. This is what keeps everything waterproof. You'll see the doors are all steel reinforced. So to close it, make sure that it's not crooked. So there's some play here. So you can force it closed crooked. If you do that, it is going to leak. It's common sense. So you close it, make sure that slide lock goes in place easily, and all the lines are straight here, then you know your door is closed and sealed. Okay, so to open the bottom, take this little lock here, slide it, and then the back you push with your finger. It's that easy. Push here, opens up. Again, you see a gasket, and inside here is the AV connector and the USB connector. Now, unlike the other, or many other of the little compact video cameras, this thing is not a little pop out. You got to kind of finagle it and pull it out, It's just sitting on a cable here. It's not hinged or anything. So I would not take this thing and just plug it into my computer. I would pick up a USB extension cable and use that, because you really don't leave this thing hanging by the weight of this little cable. Okay, so we'll close that, close that. Again, make sure the door is straight. Have a positive click, you know it's closed. These gaskets are pretty easy to take care of. Just make sure they're clean. Take a lint-free cloth. You can take, after a few months they may get a little bit worn. You can try taking a really, really light coating of silicone, like put it on your finger and then wipe it on the gasket.